Hi everyone, how are you all? I am Rega. Welcome to my channel Rega's Knowledge Hub. Today we will see NCERT Classic Social Science Chapter 7 India's Cultural Roots Part 3. I have already uploaded Part 1 and Part 2. Those who have not watched, please go through it. Jainism. Jainism is another important school of thought that became widespread at the same time, although its roots are said to be much more ancient. So, Jainism is another important school of thought. Jainism is another major religion or way of thinking that became widespread at the same time. It became popular around the same time as Buddhism, but its roots are said to be much more ancient. But people believe it actually started even earlier. So Jainism is another major religion or way of thinking. It became popular around the same time as Buddhism, but people believe it actually started even earlier. Just like Siddhartha Gautama, Prince Vardhamana was born into a royal family in the early 6th century BCE. So just like Siddhartha Gautama, just like Buddha, who was born a prince, another prince named Vardhamana was also born in a king's family in the early 6th century BCE. So Siddhartha Gautama or Buddha was born a prince. Similarly, Vardhamana was born into a royal family in the early 6th century BCE. His birthplace was near the city of Vaishali in modern day Bihar. Vardhamana was born near a place called Vaishali, which you can find in today's Bihar state. At the age of 30, he decided to leave his home and go in search of spiritual knowledge. When he turned 30, he chose to leave his comfortable life and search for the truth about life, peace, and the soul. That is, he went in search of spiritual knowledge. So, at the age of 30, he decided to leave his home and he went in search of spiritual knowledge. He searched for truth about life, peace, and the soul. He practiced an ascetic discipline and after 12 years achieved infinite knowledge or supreme wisdom. So he practiced an ascetic discipline. That means he lived a very simple and strict life, no luxuries, no comforts. And after 12 years achieved infinite knowledge or supreme wisdom. He meditated and controlled his desires for 12 long years. After that, he gained complete knowledge about the world and the soul. Jains called this infinite knowledge. He achieved infinite knowledge or supreme wisdom. He became known as Mahavira or great hero and started preaching what he had realized. So people began calling him Mahavira, which means great hero, because of his courage and dedication. He then began teaching others the truths he had discovered. So Jainism is an ancient religion that became popular around the same time as Buddhism. Its main teacher was Prince Vardhamana, who was born in a royal family near Vaishali in Bihar in the 6th century BCE. At the age of 30, he left his comfortable life to find spiritual truth. He lived very simply and practiced strict self-control for 12 years. After this, he gained supreme wisdom, which Jains call infinite knowledge. Then people began calling him Mahavira, meaning great hero. He then taught others the lessons he had learned. So what is another name for Vardhamana? Mahavira. What did Mahavira achieve after 12 years of ascetic practice? He achieved infinite knowledge. The word Jain or Jaina comes from Jina, meaning conqueror. The word Jain means a person who has won something. Jain means conqueror. Conqueror means a person who has won something. This does not refer to the conquest of territory or enemies, but to the conquest of ignorance and attachment so as to reach enlightenment. So, they are not winning land or fighting people. This does not refer to the conquest of territory or enemies. They are not winning land or fighting people, but to the conquest of ignorance and attachments. They win against their own bad habits, wrong thoughts and desires. This makes them wise and peaceful. Jain teachings include ahimsa, anegantavada and aparigraha. So, Jains follow three main rules: ahimsa, anegantavada, aparigraha. Ahimsa means do not hurt anyone. Anegantavada, understand that everyone can have different ideas. Then what is aparigraha? Do not be greedy. Keep only what you need. These ideas, shared to a large extent with Buddhism and the Vedantic school of thought, are central to Indian culture. These rules, ahimsa, anekantavada and aparigraha, are also important in Buddhism and Vedanta. They are very important values in Indian life and thinking. The first may be illustrated by this saying of Mahavira. Mahavira, he explained the first rule, ahimsa, with a famous saying: all breathing, existing, living, sentient creatures should not be slain, nor treated with violence, nor abused, nor tormented, nor driven away. That is, all breathing, existing, living creatures should not be killed, hurt, spoken to badly, troubled, or forced to go away. This means do not kill any living being. Sentient creatures mean able to feel things like pain, happiness, fear, or comfort. A sentient being is one that can feel. Animals, humans, and many living creatures are sentient because they can feel pain and emotions. So do not kill any living beings. Do not hit, harm, or hurt them. Slain means what? Slain means killed. Also, do not speak harshly or treat them badly. Do not trouble them in any way. Do not chase them away. Let us define the last two in simple terms. Anegantavada. Anegantavada means not just one aspect or perspective. So, Anekantavada means truth has many sides. That is, truth has many aspects and cannot be fully described by any single statement. No single person can explain the whole truth. Everyone may see the same thing differently. So, Anekantavada means many sides. Truth has many sides, not just one. No single person can know everything about the truth. The next one, aparigraha, means non-possession and advises detachment from material possessions, limiting oneself to what is truly necessary in life. So, aparigraha means not collecting too many things. Do not be greedy. Keep only what you really need. It advises detachment from material possessions. Do not collect too many things like clothes, money, etc. Do not be too attached to things. If you need only one notebook, don't keep 5 notebooks unnecessarily. That is aparigraha, non-possession. Jainism also insists on the interconnectedness and interdependence of all creatures, from humans to invisible organisms, as they support each other and cannot live without one another. Jainism also insists on the interconnectedness. Interconnectedness means everything is linked or connected. And interdependence. Interdependence means everything needs each other to live. So Jainism insists on interconnectedness and interdependence of all creatures. All living things are interconnected. They are connected and they are dependent on each other. From humans to invisible organisms, as they support each other and cannot live without one another. This means humans, animals, plants, and even tiny living things we cannot see all help each other. No living things can live alone. We all need each other to survive. Scientists studying nature, flora, and fauna have again and again confirmed this deep truth. Flora means plants, fauna means animals. So scientists who study nature, plants, flora, plants mean flora, and animals, fauna, keep finding proof that this idea is true. We all need each other to survive. So scientists also agrees that all living things are connected. Jainism emphasizes the conquest of what? Ignorance. What does aparigraha advise detachment from? Possessions. The word Jain comes from which term? Jina. The Jataka tales, which have delighted generations of Indian children and adults, tell stories of the Buddha's former births and express in simple terms the Buddhist values. So the Jataka stories are very old stories that people, both children and adults, have enjoyed for many years. They tell about the Buddha's past lives. Delighted means made happy. These stories teach the main ideas of Buddhism in an easy way. In a well-known tale, Buddha was the king of a large troop of monkeys. In one famous story, Buddha was born as a monkey king. Troop means a group of monkeys. So, in one famous story, Buddha was born as a monkey king. They lived near a huge tree which bore fruit of divine fragrance and taste. The monkeys lived near a very big tree with very special, sweet smelling and tasty fruits. Divine means what? Heavenly, very special. Fragrance means smell. So, these monkeys lived near a very big tree with a very special, sweet smelling, tasty fruits. Despite the monkey king's instructions that no fruit should escape, one day a ripe fruit fell into the stream below. The monkey king had told everyone to make sure no fruits fell away from the tree. But one day, a ripe fruit dropped into a stream. Carried by the current, it was caught in a net and taken to the palace. The flowing water carried the fruit. It was caught in a net. It got stuck in a fisherman's net, and the fisherman took it to the king's palace. The king was so enchanted by its taste that he ordered his soldiers to locate the tree it came from. The king loved the fruit's taste so much that he told his soldiers to find the tree from which this fruit had come. After a long search, they found the tree and the monkeys enjoying the tree's fruits. After searching for a long time, the soldiers found the tree. They also saw the monkeys happily eating its fruits. The soldiers attacked the monkeys. The soldiers started to harm and chase the monkeys. The only way for the Monkey King to save his monkeys was to help them cross the stream, but they could not do so on their own. The Monkey King knew the monkeys could be saved only if they crossed the stream, but the monkeys could not cross it by themselves. Being much larger than them, the Monkey King caught hold of a tree on the other bank and let them use his body as a bridge to cross the stream, although he was severely bruised in the process and eventually died. The Monkey King was bigger and stronger than the others. He held on to a tree on the opposite side of the stream and allowed the monkeys to walk over his body like a bridge. While helping them, he got badly hurt. His body had many injuries and finally he died. The king, who watched the scene from a distance, was greatly moved by the Monkey King's selfless sacrifice. The king watched everything from far away. He felt very touched by how the Monkey King gave up his own life to save his group. He thought about the role of a king with respect to his subjects. The king began thinking about what a good king should do for his people. He understood that a king must protect his subjects, just like the Monkey King protected his monkeys. Subjects mean the people who live under a king. So, selfless love and sacrifice are the highest qualities. A true leader cares for others and protects them, even if it is difficult. See this picture? This is a stone panel at Barhat in Madhya Pradesh, depicting the story of the Monkey King. A Jain story. Rohineya was an extraordinarily skilled burglar. Extraordinarily skilled means very good at something. Burglar, thief, who evaded all attempts to catch him. Evaded means escaped. So Rohineya was a very clever thief. No one could catch him. On his way to a city, he accidentally heard a few sentences from a sermon that Mahavira was giving about achieving liberation from the ordinary life of ignorance. While traveling, he accidentally means by chance, he accidentally heard a little part of Mahavira's speech. Sermon means speech. Mahavira was teaching how to become free from a life of confusion and wrong actions. He was teaching about how to achieve liberation, how to achieve freedom from the ordinary life of ignorance. Reaching the city, Rohineya was recognized and arrested. When he arrived in the city, people knew who he was and caught him. He pretended to be a simple farmer. Rohineya lied and said he was just a farmer. Pretended means acted like something he was not. A minister devised a clever plan to force him to confess his identity. A minister devised a clever plan. Devised means created. He created a clever plan, a smart plan to make him admit that he was the thief. Confess means tell the truth about what he did. So, a minister created a smart plan to make him admit that he was the thief. But Rohineya, remembering Mahavira's words, was able to detect the minister's plan and defeat it. Rohineya, he remembered Mahavira's teaching. Because of that, he understood the minister's trick. He understood the minister's trick and avoided it. Feeling remorseful, Rohineya approached Mahavira, confessed his crimes, returned the stolen treasures, and asked for forgiveness. Rohineya, he felt guilty and sorry. He went to meet Mahavira. Remorseful means feeling very sorry for doing wrong. So he felt very guilty and he went to meet Mahavira, confessed his crimes, returned the stolen treasures, and asked for forgiveness. He told Mahavira the truth, gave back everything he had stolen, and asked to be forgiven. He became a monk, realized the illusion he was living in, and focused on acquiring higher knowledge. He decided to give up his old life, became a monk, understood that his old life was wrong, and started learning spiritual truth. So he realized the illusion. Illusion means false life, wrong understanding. And he started learning spiritual truth. The story illustrates the importance of right action and right thinking, and also illustrates the fact that everyone should have a second chance. The story teaches two things: the importance of right action and right thinking. We must think and act in the right way. Second, everyone should have a second chance. Everyone deserves another chance to change their life. Observe the above panel from a Jain temple in New Delhi. What is striking about it? See here, you can see a lion and a cow. Two natural enemies are shown peacefully drinking water from the same bowl. Lion and cow, they are natural enemies. But here, they are drinking water from the same bowl. What message does it carry? Ahimsa or non-violence, peaceful coexistence. In both Buddhism and Jainism, ahimsa means much more than refraining from physical violence against a person or an animal. In Buddhism and Jainism, ahimsa means more than just not hitting or hurting people or animals. Refraining means not doing. It also means refraining from violence in thought, such as having ill feelings towards anyone. Ahimsa also means not having bad thoughts about others. If we observe ourselves carefully, we may notice such negative thoughts and learn to turn them into positive ones. If we look at our own mind carefully, we may see these bad thoughts. Then we can try to change them into good thoughts, positive thoughts. Sometimes such negative thoughts are even directed at ourselves. Sometimes we even think bad things about ourselves, like I am not good enough. So ahimsa means being kind not only in actions but also in your thoughts towards others and towards yourself. In both Buddhism and Jainism, monks and sometimes nuns too began traveling across the land to spread their respective teachings far and wide. Monks, religious men; nuns, religious women. So in Buddhism and Jainism, the monks and sometimes nuns traveled from place to place to teach people their religion. Some of them created new monasteries in faraway places, while others led ascetic lives in caves cut in the rock. Some monks built new monasteries. Monasteries, what is monastery? A place where monks live and study. So some monks, they built new monasteries in places that were very far away. Other monks, they lived a very simple and strict life in caves that were cut or carved out of rocks. Ascetic life means simple life. Archaeological findings have revealed many traces of those monasteries, sometimes even the names of the monks who lived in the rock-cut caves and slept on the stone beds. Archaeologists mean people who study old things. They have found remains or signs of those old monasteries. They even found the names of the monks who lived in those caves and slept on beds made of stone. So Buddhist and Jain monks, they traveled to teach people. Some built monasteries while others lived simply in rock caves. Today, archaeologists have found many remains of these ancient places, even the names of the monks who lived there. See this picture? Caves cut into the rock at Ellora, Maharashtra, between the 6th and the 10th centuries CE. Some of the caves are Hindu, others are Buddhist and Jain. In English, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Sikhism are often labeled religions. In English, people usually call Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Sikhism religions. You may notice that we have avoided this term, preferring schools of thought, and later in this chapter, belief systems. But here we are not using the word religion. Instead, we say school of thought or belief systems. This is because there are many aspects to those schools and systems which we will explore gradually. A philosophical aspect, a spiritual aspect, a religious aspect, an ethical aspect, a social aspect, to name a few. These schools have many parts and we will study them slowly. Ideas about life, that is philosophy. Then about spirit, that is spiritual. Then about rituals, religious. About right and wrong, that is ethical. And about society, that is social. Many scholars agree that the word religion is too limiting in the context of the Indian civilization. Many experts think that calling these schools just religions is not enough because they include philosophy, ethics, society and more. There were yet other schools of thought at the time. At that time, there were other ways of thinking too. For example, one of them known as Charvaka school, sometimes also Lokayata, believed that this material world is the only thing that exists and therefore there can be no life after death. One school called Charvaka or Lokayata believed only the physical material world exists. There is no life after death. Material world means the physical world we can see and touch. Life after death means living again or existing in some form after dying. This school does not seem to have gained much popularity and it disappeared with the time. Not many people followed this school, so it slowly vanished. We mention it to show that there was a wide diversity of intellectual or spiritual belief systems. People were free to choose what suited them. We talk about it to show that there were many different kinds of beliefs at that time. People could choose the beliefs that they liked. So at that time, there were many different schools of thought. One of them, Charvaka, believed only in the material world and no life after death. People could choose which beliefs they wanted to follow. Although the Vedic, Buddhist and Jain schools had important differences, they also shared some common concepts such as dharma, karma, rebirth, the search for an end to suffering and ignorance, and many important values. The Vedic, Buddhist and Jain schools of thought were different in some ways, but they also had some ideas in common like dharma. Dharma means doing what is right. Then karma, your actions and their results. Then rebirth, being born again. Then search for an end to suffering and ignorance. That means trying to stop pain and wrong thinking. Then important values, good qualities like honesty, kindness, non-violence, etc. This is the trunk of the tree we started this chapter with. These common ideas are like the main part of a tree, the trunk. The differences are like branches. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. We will see in the next video. Thank you.